Good morning to all. I am Abarnamol KS. Today I am going to present on my obstetrics and gynecology presentation on the topic viral hepatitis in pregnancy. We already studied about viral hepatitis in the previous year classes. Today we are going to discuss about viral hepatitis in pregnancy. Introduction. Viral hepatitis is the most common cause of jaundice in pregnancy. There is increasing incidence of its affection in pregnancy compared to non-pregnant one. Hepatitis is mostly restricted to the ill-nourished mothers living in unhygienic environment, and in the tropic it often occurs as an epidemic form. Definition. Viral hepatitis is a widespread inflammation of liver that results in degeneration and necrosis of liver cells mainly due to viral infection. There are mainly 6 distinct types of highly contagious hepatitis virus that cause viral infection. They are hepatitis A, that is an RNA virus; hepatitis B, that is a DNA virus; hepatitis C, that is an RNA virus; hepatitis D, that is an RNA virus; hepatitis E, that is an RNA virus; and hepatitis G, that is an RNA virus. First is the hepatitis A. Hepatitis A, that is formerly known as infectious hepatitis or epidemic jaundice. It is an acute infectious disease caused by hepatitis A virus. The infection is spread mainly by fecal-oral route. Usually it is self-limited and fulminant hepatitis is rare. Diagnosis is confirmed by detection of IgM antibody to hepatitis A. Perinatal transmission is rare and chronic carrier state does not exist. Virus is not teratogenic. Pregnant woman exposure to hepatitis A infection should receive immunoglobulin 0.02 ml per kg within 2 weeks of exposure. It is safe in pregnancy. And also she should also have a hepatitis A vaccine single dose 0.06 ml intramuscularly should be given. Hepatitis A in pregnancy, that is mainly characterized by non-specific symptoms such as fever, chills, headache, fatigue, generalized weakness, aches and pain, followed by anorexia, nausea, vomiting, dark urine and jaundice. Hepatitis A that will cause higher risk of preterm labor, premature uterine contraction, placental abruption, premature rupture of membrane, etc. Next is the hepatitis B. Hepatitis B, that is formerly known as serum hepatitis, is an acute systemic infection with a major pathology in the liver caused by hepatitis B virus, that is an DNA virus. The transmission that is mainly occurs by parenteral route, sexual contact, vertical transmission and rarely to breast milk. The risk of transmission to fetus ranges from 10% in first semester to as high as 90% in third semester, and it is especially high 90% from those mothers who are seropositive to hepatitis B surface antigen, that is HBsAg2E antigen, that is HBeAg. It is not teratogenic. Neonatal transmission mainly occurs at around the time of delivery through the mixing of maternal blood and genital secretion. Hepatitis B causes maternal infection, that is mainly characterized by majority of patient remains asymptomatic, flu-like illness as malaise, anorexia, nausea and vomiting, arthralgia, skin rashes, fever is uncommon and jaundice is rare. Clinical course. Nearly 90 to 95% of patients clear the infection and have full recovery. About 1% develop fulminant hepatitis resulting in massive hepatic necrosis, and 10 to 50% become chronic, and 10% of these chronic cases suffer from chronic active hepatitis cirrhosis and hepatocellular carcinoma. Screening. The hepatitis B screening of all patients include all pregnant women should be screened for hepatitis B infection at first antenatal visit, and it should be repeated during the third semester for high risk group, especially for intravenous drug abusers, sexual promiscuity, hemophilics, patient on hemodialysis or having multiple sex partners. Next is the hepatitis C. Hepatitis C, it is a major cause of non-A, non-B hepatitis. Transmission mainly by blood-borne or lesser extent by fecal-oral route. Perinatal transmission, that is 10 to 40% is high when viral load is high and presence of co-infection with the HIV or hepatitis B. Detection is by antibody to hepatitis C to ELISA, which develops usually late in infection. Conformation is by recombinant immunoblast state and chronic carrier state is present. No effective vaccine for hepatitis C. Women should be immunized against hepatitis A and B if not immune. Breastfeeding is not contraindicated. Next is the hepatitis D. Hepatitis D, that is seen in a patient infected with hepatitis B either as a co-infection or superinfection. Perinatal transmission is known. Chronic carrier state is seen. Neonatal immunoprophylaxis for hepatitis B is almost effective against hepatitis D. Acute infection with fulminant cause result in high maternal mortality due to hepatic failure. Next is the hepatitis E. Hepatitis E, it is an infection caused by hepatitis E virus, that is an RNA virus. It is similar to hepatitis A virus infection. It may lead to fulminant hepatitis. ELISA can detect hepatitis C specific IgG and IgM antibodies or by PCR. Chronic carrier state is present and perinatal transmission is uncommon. Maternal mortality following acute infection is high, that is 15 to 20%. Next is the hepatitis G. Hepatitis G, it is related to the hepatitis C virus, that is an RNA virus. It is more prevalent but less virulent than hepatitis C. Co-infection with hepatitis A, B, C and HIV is common. Chronic carrier state is known and perinatal transmission is documented. What are the clinical features of viral hepatitis in pregnancy? The clinical features of viral hepatitis, that is including acute viral hepatitis, is asymptomatic. The non-specific symptoms like jaundice, nausea, anorexia, abdominal pain, discomfort, fatigue, malaise, myalgia and then dark urine. Next is the maternal effect of viral hepatitis. There is increased incidence of postpartum hemorrhage, hepatic coma, renal failure, coagulopathy, infections and hepatorenal syndrome. All this lead to increase in maternal morbidity and mortality. Medical termination of pregnancy does not alter the prognosis of the patient. Next is the fetal effect of viral hepatitis. It includes there is increased incidence of abortion, preterm birth and intrauterine death leading to increased fetal wastage. Congenital malformation of fetus following viral hepatitis in early pregnancies inclusive. Perinatal mortality is about 20 to 70%. Prophylaxis about viral hepatitis include improvement in sanitation, supply of safe drinking water, adequate care of personal hygiene, use of disposable syringe, boiling of syringe prior to use, screening of blood donors for HBsAg should be routinely done. Hepatitis B infection can be prevented by vaccination and it is safe in pregnancy. In hepatitis A, both passive immunization and active immunization with the killed virus vaccine. Healthcare workers should receive hepatitis B vaccine and they should avoid needle stick injury and blood-to-blood contact. Next is the management. The management, that is include the pregnant woman who is seronegative should have hepatitis B immunoglobulin, that is HBIg 0.06 ml per kg intramuscularly shown following exposure and a second dose after 1 month. Then she should be given recombinant DNA vaccine intramuscularly 1 ml 3 doses at 0, 1 and 6 months. All infants born to HBsAg positive mothers should have HBIg 0.5 ml intramuscularly within 12 hours of birth and active immunization with the HB vaccine 0.5 ml intramuscularly at separate site at same time schedule. This is very effective, that is 85 to 90% effective to protect the infant from hepatitis B infection and breastfeeding is not contraindicated. Tenofovir and HBIg are effective to reduce transplacental transmission of hepatitis B to fetus. Tenofovir is given 300 mg per day from 34 weeks. Next is the treatment. There is no specific treatment for viral hepatitis. It is generally supportive and consultation with a hepatologist is ideal. First one is a rest. The patient should be put to bed rest if necessary by hospitalization. Second is an isolation. The patient should be kept in isolation. Blood samples are to be collected with a gloved hand. Disposable syringe should be used and the excreta is to be disposed carefully. Third is a nutrition. The diet rich in carbohydrate and adequate protein is to be prescribed. Initially, glucose drink, fruit juice may be given. Dietary fat restriction is not necessary. If the patient cannot tolerate oral feeding, 10% glucose may be given intravenously. Then next is a drugs. To prevent the formation of toxic nitrogenous compound from the bacterial flora of gut, oral neomycin, that is 1 gram to be given 6 hourly, is helpful. And lactulose 15 to 30 ml 3 times a daily reduces colonic ammonia absorption and it acts as an osmotic laxative. Hepatotoxic drugs should not be used. There is no place for termination of pregnancy. Next is the prevention of complication. The complications can be prevented by the complications like hypokalemia, hypoglycemia and hypocalcemia are corrected by regular blood checkup. Hemorrhagic complications are managed by giving blood or fresh frozen plasma. During labor, hepatotoxic drugs should be avoided. To administer vitamin K 5 mg intramuscularly to raise the prothrombin level and prophylactic oxytocin is to be given. And hepatologist to be involved. Patient may need ICU management depending on the liver function test. Next is the nursing diagnosis. The first one is the imbalance in nutrition less than body requirement related to anorexia, nausea and vomiting. For that, what are the interventions can be given? The monitor the nutritional status of the patient, then suggest several small feedings and offer largest meal at breakfast. Recommend eating in the upright positions, then encourage intake of fruit juices and carbonated beverages. Then protein restriction in case of fulminant hepatitis. Monitor the serum glucose level regularly. Administer medications as per doctor's orders like antiemetics, antacids, vitamin B and then steroid therapy. Second is a risk for deficient fluid volume. For that, we can monitor the intake output chart of patient and monitor the weight of the patient and assess the vital signs and check for edema and the ascites. Then measure the abdominal girth of the patient regularly. Observe for signs of bleeding. Then monitor for HB, HCT, sodium, albumin, clotting time, etc. Provide IV fluid as per doctor order and administer vitamin K as indicated. Third is the fatigue related to states of discomfort, altered body chemistry. For that, we can provide bed rest for the patient, then provide quiet environment, do necessary tasks quickly at one time as tolerated, encourage the use of stress management techniques like progressive relaxation and guided imaginary. Fourth one is a risk for impaired skin integrity. Fifth one, deficient knowledge related to unfamiliarity with the resources. And sixth one, situational self-esteem related to annoying, isolation and length of illness. And seventh one, risk for infection related to malnutrition. So these all are about viral hepatitis in pregnancy. Thank you.